Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have officially come full circle where we are talking about the Until Dawn remake again. Now, if you guys are unaware, maybe you're new to the channel, we spoke about the Until Dawn remake when it was first announced and it was first showcased. I think we went over the gameplay over on Saturday Night Hypnosis, and we were roasting it because the gameplay was terrible. Like, they completely changed the way the game actually looks because it's a brand new engine and they didn't want to spend the time to give you the same level of eerie feeling that you got when playing the original Until Dawn. I have always told people that if you want to play Until Dawn, play the original game. It's not that old, it looks better, it gives you a more scary feeling and everything else. Well, apparently, after all the shills were telling me that Until Dawn remake was perfectly fine, and I'm just a hater, I'm a grifter, and I'm just looking to be angry at something, apparently, not everybody else felt the same. The Until Dawn remake studio is officially going to be shut down with all the developers gone as of today. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, this is just another example of people lying to your face, trying to tell you that everything is fine because they either get paid to do so, maybe they get free swag, perhaps there is shill out there begging for a free review code. But regardless, you should be able to tell when something is clearly wrong. Anybody can look at the Until Dawn remake and realize that the game was absolute trash looking. I don't understand anybody that would rather play the Until Dawn remake. They were literally calling it Light Dawn. Like, they were calling it Light Dawn because all the moments that were supposed to be dark and scary in the original game were now suddenly bright as hell as if it was Los Angeles. The reason why is because, quite frankly, the game's engine was totally different and they didn't want to spend the time into trying to make it look as dark and scary as the original. They wanted to do a quick cash grab. They didn't want to spend that much in development time, and this is what you get. We have a headline here from Eurogamer that says Until Dawn Remake Studio reportedly effectively closed, with all the developers gone following several rounds of redundancy. So let's get into this article, guys. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. Now, again, guys, the Until Dawn remake was absolute trash in my opinion. I remember reacted. You know what? Instead of just talking about it, let me bring it up. All right, so I have a video here showing the original Until Dawn versus the remake in case you guys did not see it. That way you know I'm not talking out of my ass. Let me let the video play a little bit so you can see the direct comparisons and see exactly why we roasted this game when it was announced. Here we go.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Direct Comparison. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at Ballistic Moon's recently released remake of Until Dawn, and see how it compares to the original 2015 release of the game on the PlayStation 4. For reference, I'll be discussing both the PlayStation 5 and PC versions of the remake, and discussing how it compares to...
Do you see the difference already? Do you see how dark, broody, and scary the original one on the left looks like? And look at the remake on the right. Absolutely ridiculous. It is bright and sunny as hell. You do not get the same feeling of eeriness. And then on top of that too, the laziness of the developers really show when you look at the character models, because on the left, the characters are always like panting around, dancing around because they're in the cold. You can see their breath. It looks cold, right? On the right, they don't do anything. They just literally stand still and don't do a damn thing. They are unaffected by their environment. You cannot even tell if it's cold. You probably don't even realize because it's sunny as hell outside.
To the PlayStation 4 version while it's running on the PlayStation 5. The original 2015 release of the game on PS4 did run at a locked 30 frames per second, at a native 1080p resolution. But on the PlayStation 5, that same release of the game runs at an unlocked frame rate, hitting upwards of 60 frames per second most of the time, providing a smoother presentation. The latest PS5 remake, on the other hand, has been reworked using Unreal Engine 5, with a higher base resolution, but a locked 30 frames per second, and remarkably, no option to choose any sort of performance mode either. Meanwhile, the PC release does support native 4K, along with your typical AI-driven upscaling solution like DLSS, frame generation, FSR, and the like. And therefore, in theory, it can hit much higher frame rates. For this reason, the PC version is the ideal way to play the latest remake, though it does come with its own set of issues as well, including some broken shadow rendering, pop-in, inconsistent frame pacing, and some minor stuttering. But today, we're going to focus more on the artistic changes made with the remake, especially in how the characters, the environments, and the general story pacing of the experience have been altered. So let's kick this comparison off by first taking a look at the character models.
So you guys get the gist of it, right? This is basically the issue. The issue is that they completely changed the artistic integrity of what the game was. There's a reason why Until Dawn was so loved, and it was because of the setting that they gave you. Like, the game was not the scariest game in the world, but it gave you an uneasy, suspenseful setting, and that completely got wiped away for the most part in the remake up until later portions in the game where it starts to go back to the original. But for the most part, it gives you this overly lighted experience that completely kills the entire reason for the game being set in the way that it was in the first one. So now that we've seen this comparison, now we could go back to the article and you guys have an understanding why I have issues with the Until Dawn remake and why a lot of people had issues with the Until Dawn remake. In case you're curious of how this game did on Steam, it didn't do that great. The game hit an all-time peak of 2,607 5 months ago. The game came out 5 months ago, just an FYI from Ballistic Moon. So the reviews were not that great as well, 77% positive, fairly decent, but clearly there's room for improvement. We're 45 people playing right now. It says Until Dawn Remake studio Ballistic Moon has reportedly effectively closed amid claims only a handful of employees at most remain. None of them are developers. Ballistic Moon, which is based in the UK, confirmed a round of redundancies last year, saying that it has made the tough decision to significantly scale down our team to secure the future of our studio. However, a new report by Insider Gaming claims that the studio quietly made a second round of redundancies towards the end of last year. According to the publication sources, roughly 40 employees were let go in October, with remaining staff kept on to provide post-launch support for Ballistic's Until Dawn remake. However, it's claimed these developers, equating to around 20 employees, lost their jobs in December, leaving only the studio's founders and possibly a handful of employees at most. Reportedly, Ballistic's entire PR, marketing, and development teams are now gone. Now, this provides an issue, right? Because Until Dawn is still a game that is available for sale. And Until Dawn is still a game that people are reporting bugs for. The only thing is people are reporting bugs to a team that doesn't exist. People are reporting bugs to people that aren't there anymore. There's nobody there to fix the issues anymore. People are sharing bugs they found in the game to make the team aware, a source told the publication, but there is no one working on patch support for the game anymore. Insider Gaming claims that the job losses follow unsuccessful attempts by Ballistic's founders to pitch new projects, secure funding, and keep things moving forward. I do find it ironic that they are having so many issues finding funding after Trump got into office. Don't you guys find that to be very interesting? All these studios that are closing down now, all these studios that are firing people left and right recently, ever since Trump got in office, it almost seems like there was funding out there that was readily available that no longer is anymore. And it just makes it very interesting. Again, I can't make the connection. I'm just saying I find it very interesting. Overall, the Until Dawn remake is a game that shouldn't have existed. It was a cash grab of a game that was pretty much not brand new, but still relatively, relevant. And they decided to cash grab on it and remake it. And keep in mind, they've been remaking Until Dawn like nonstop. You got remakes, remasters. It's ridiculous how much this game has gotten remade. And I think at this point, it's safe to say they need to let it just die off and be as it is. And I feel bad for people that are going to be buying this game in the future when it goes on mega sale, and they're not even going to realize that they're buying a game that could potentially have bugs that has no developers to fix it anymore. It's actually kind of sad. I feel like there should be a notation somewhere on the store page to let people know that the studio is basically dead and gone. I feel like that's something that should be on the store page, but that's probably not going to happen. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.